Welcome to Listen and Learn English, where you can improve your English at your own pace. Our narrators are all native English speakers, and their words are displayed so that you can read along and practice your English vocabulary. It's a great way to learn, so sit back, relax, and let's get into the video. The Herdsman and the Weaver Girl. Long, long ago, high above the earth, in the vast and glittering realm of the heavens, there lived 7 enchanting sisters, known as the 7 Fairy Sisters. They were the daughters of the Jade Emperor and the Queen Mother of the West, noble rulers of heaven. Each of these celestial maidens possessed a unique charm, but the youngest, Xenu, the Weaver Girl, was especially admired. Xenu was not only breathtakingly beautiful, but she was also incredibly gifted. Her fingers danced like the wind over her loom, weaving radiant clouds into vibrant tapestries. She painted the skies with streaks of gold and coral at sunrise, and brushed the dusk with purples and pinks at sunset. Each day, her creations lit up the heavens and filled the skies with wonder. But despite her talent and the praise she received, Xenu's heart was heavy. Her days were filled with routine, and the loneliness of immortality weighed on her. From her place in heaven, she often looked down at earth and wondered what it would be like to live among mortals, to feel love, joy, and the simplicity of human life. Seeing her sadness, her 6 older sisters decided to cheer her up. They secretly took her to earth for a short visit, hoping the change would lift her spirits. Disguised as ordinary maidens, the 7 sisters descended from the heavens and came to a quiet, secluded river on earth. There, under the warm sunlight, they bathed, danced, and laughed like carefree village girls. The moment felt magical, so different from the formality and rules of the celestial palace. Not far from the river, in a small village nestled among the hills, lived a humble and kind-hearted young man named Yulang, which meant herdsman. Orphaned at a young age, he had been raised by his elder brother and sister-in-law, who treated him cruelly. They gave him only rags to wear and scraps to eat, and eventually forced him out of the house. With nowhere else to go, Yulang lived in a small, run-down hut at the edge of a field. His only companion was an old gentle ox, who was his friend and confidant. One day, while tending his fields, Yulang heard an unexpected voice. To his amazement, it was the ox speaking. The ox revealed that it was once a heavenly being who had been banished to earth as punishment. "Go to the river this afternoon," the ox said. "There your life will change forever." Perplexed but trusting his loyal friend, Yulang followed the ox's advice. That afternoon he made his way to the river. There he saw something astonishing. 7 elegant young women were bathing in the water, their colourful silk robes folded neatly on the grassy bank. Yulang was mesmerized. One robe shimmered more brilliantly than the others. It was woven with threads of sunlight and moonlight. It belonged to Xenu. Encouraged by the ox's words, Yulang quietly picked up the radiant robe and waited. When the sisters noticed someone nearby, they hurried to dress and fled back to the heavens in fright. All except Xenu, who could not leave without her robe. Left behind, Xenu stood at the river bank, blushing and uncertain. When she saw Yulang, she was struck by his gentle face and kind eyes. He stepped forward and returned the robe without a word, but instead of flying back to the sky, Xenu hesitated. Something stirred in her heart, something she had never felt before. As the sun dipped below the hills, the two began to speak. They talked and laughed, and the bond between them deepened quickly. Xenu, who had lived for centuries among the mortals, felt warmth and closeness she had never known. Yulang, too, felt his heart swell with affection for the mysterious maiden who had appeared like a dream. Xenu decided to stay on earth. The two married in a quiet ceremony and began a simple but joyful life together. They built a modest home with their own hands, and their days were filled with laughter, love, and hard work. Zinu wove exquisite cloth to sell in the village, while Nulang worked the fields with the old ox beside him. Soon they were blessed with 2 children, a son and a daughter, who filled their home with cheer. But a life of peace on earth could never truly belong to someone born from the stars. When the Jade Emperor discovered that his youngest daughter had married a mortal and chose to live on earth, he was furious. In his eyes, a goddess was not meant to dwell among humans, let alone raise children with one. Without warning, he sent celestial guards to retrieve Zinu. She was torn from her family and dragged back to the heavens, her cries echoing across the sky. Nulang was devastated. The children wept for their mother, and even the old ox, once divine, lay down in grief. Before the ox passed away, it whispered to Nulang, "Use my hide to fashion a cloak. It holds magic that will allow you to fly." With great sorrow, Nulang honors his old friend's last wish. He sewed a magical cloak from the ox's hide. Carrying his 2 young children in baskets slung over his shoulders, he rose into the sky, determined to reunite with his beloved wife. He soared higher and higher, drawing closer to heaven with every beat of his heart. But just as he was about to reach Zinu, the Queen Mother of the West appeared. With one majestic sweep of her jeweled sleeve, she created a massive starry river across the sky, the Milky Way. It flowed between Nulang and Zinu, separating them with a shimmering, impassable divide. Nulang and Zinu reached out to each other, crying and calling across the stars. Their children wailed. The heavens rang with the sound of their sorrow. But love, when it is true and deep, can move even the hardest of hearts. Seeing their devotion, a flock of magpies took pity on the family. Thousands of the birds flew up into the sky, and with their wings they formed a living bridge across the Milky Way. Every year, on the 7th day of the 7th lunar month, they returned to form this bridge, allowing the lovers to meet for a single day. The Jade Emperor, touched by the power of their love, agreed to allow this one reunion each year. And so, once a year, Nulang and Zinu hold hands, walk across the bridge of magpies, and embrace once more. They laugh, cry, and share stories of their lives before parting again until the next year. Back on Earth, people honor this eternal love story by celebrating the Qizi festival, also known as the Chinese Valentine's Day. On this special day, lovers exchange gifts, pray for happiness, and gaze at the stars. They search the night sky for Vega, which represents Zinu, and Altair, which represents Nulang. If the skies are clear, some say you might catch a glimpse of the Magpie Bridge forming across the Milky Way. Even after centuries, the tale of the herdsman and the weaver girl continues to inspire poetry, paintings, and romantic hopes. It reminds us all that love, even when tested by time and distance, can endure and shine like stars across the sky.